Now it's time for our show and tell of the week. And this one is all related to our feeling of the week, Liberosis, about times that we felt life was just not quite as heavy as it feels right now. And mine is related to our coping skill of the week, which is gardening. Because when I think back to a time in my childhood, particularly where things did not feel super heavy, it was when I was barefoot and running through my grandparents' cornfield while they had the sprinklers on, just living my best life in Indiana. It was so simple, but these are some of the best memories that I have from my childhood. I would go and spend a week at my grandparents' farm, and they were really strict and really old school conservative. And so it was not a week full of TV or other things. It was a week of baking and sewing and running through the cornfields. And honestly, I can still feel the mud between my toes. And I can still remember just how blissful and light it was to be there with them. I'm talking about it now, and I miss my grandparents very much. All of my grandparents were very influential to me and to who I've become today. So when I think about the garden and the garden patch, it brings all of that up. And I think it's one of the reasons I love gardening and having a garden every year so much now as an adult, is it really reminds me of the simple joys in life, like running through the sprinkler.
Oh, that's so sweet. So when you brought up Liberosis,
Maybe.
you had said in a text the yearning to go back to childhood, and it was such a trigger, Lori. It was crazy because for me, it's like, oh, my dad's drinking, the abuse, being alone all the time, wondering if the bills were getting paid, like carrying adult problems at too young of an age. And so I was like, God, it's like when people talk about heaven, you're reunited with your family, and I'm like, oh shit, I need the train, not that direction. No, I don't want that train. But it then made me think about my exchange. I follow a TikToker, a influencer, Diary of an Honest Mom. I've been following her. I think her kids are probably the same age. She started posting content years and years ago when her kids were younger, and it was just exhausting about being a parent that comes from a trauma-informed childhood and trying so hard to build this perfect childhood for your kid and how exhausting it is and carrying all that weight. And we ended up having an exchange, and I felt really famous. This famous person, just some mom that has a TikTok channel, and I were like having this conversation because she posted something about how it's really hard to not live in regret when we look back at our kids' younger years because we were doing so much work healing from our childhood. How much did we miss of our children's childhood? And I challenged her on that because, and the reason this goes back to Liberosis is because I'm starting to wonder if maybe we loved so deeply and we were trying to overcompensate so much. That's part of the pain of letting go of their childhood, is that we were so there, we were so present. And yeah, we were dealing with a lot of emotions, but a lot of parents don't hang on to that chapter as much as us. I think it's because that is the childhood we wanted. We created the childhood we wanted. And when I think of, I made huge sacrifices. I had a great career and I left my career when I had a kid, which is something I don't think any of us saw on my bingo card in any way. And when I look at those years and when I thought about this specific concept of going back to a that's my time. Their young years. That's my time. And I think I've healed so much through them. And I didn't have children to heal. I did not expect that. But I got the childhood memories. It's just theirs. And the sad part is they won't even remember them. I will. I never, like when I see TikToks, like, oh, I hope when I'm dying, it's the feeling of my dad carrying me in from the back seat of the car. I have no comprehension of what that even means. No idea. But I hope my children do. And I think I get as much joy from that as I would have had it been my own childhood. So I guess for me, Liberosis, in the context of my life, I think I need to work on continuing to love deeply, but the outage for me is I need to not hold on to it so tightly. I think that's what holds me back. I need to hold it at the proper level.
Yeah. Well, caring for another child can help you to heal your inner child. So I do agree with you. I think that there's a powerful stage when we become parents ourselves to go back and revise some of those things and experience them in a different way, but in a way that ultimately heals us.